All right, hello everyone. I want to thank you for joining me for this short sale mastermind agent webinar. I'm Mike Linkenauber, the Director of Operations for the Short Sale Specialist Network. We have a special treat for you guys on this week's webinar. We have Wendy Rulnick and Bryant Tutas, who are the founders of Short Sale Superstars.
Hi, everyone.
You guys say hi real quick.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Nice to be here.
It's such a pleasure to have both of you guys on here. What I want to do first is ask each one of you guys to just introduce yourself, talk, brag about yourself a little bit. If you don't brag enough, I'm going to brag a little for you. And just tell us who you are, tell us your experience in real estate, and tell us what you're doing now and the exciting stuff you guys are doing now. We'll say ladies first. So,
okay.
Wendy, you've got the mic.
Fabulous. Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy Rulnick. I'm broker, owner of Rulnick Realty. I've been in real estate for about 25 years. I hate to admit it, but it's true. About 6 years ago, I was just checking my stats. About 6 years ago, a lady called me. She said, I need help. I'm in desperate need of help. She said, I have 8 houses that I've purchased, and they're not worth what my mortgages are, and I'm in deep financial trouble. Can you help me? And that was really the beginning of my getting into the short sales as heavily as I am now. I did some short sales back in the late 80s where we had a little period of short sales, but the last 6 years I've been very, very focused on it. I love them. I love the challenge of them, and I love the satisfaction of helping somebody through the most difficult parts of their lives. It's very rewarding to me.
Very good. And okay, Brian, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing and all that good stuff.
Well, hey, guys, this is Bryant Tutas. I'm the broker-owner of Tutas Towne Realty, and I've been in real estate for about 18 years, and I've had my own company for about 16 years. I think I did my first short sale in about 1998, and then I didn't do another one until 2007, so there was a little bit of gap there, but I'm a small-time broker in a home-based office. I work with my son, and we do probably 50% short sales and about 50% regular buyer-side transactions. But yeah, love short sales, and I've actually been through it myself, Mike. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I did short sales on a couple of my investment properties in 2010. So been through it, which kind of helps me to be able to relate to people and really, really enjoy doing short sales. It fit my skill set just perfectly since I make a living negotiating and always have. And I'm one of the rare people, Mike, I actually love doing paperwork. So,
yeah, you are definitely a rarity if you love doing paperwork. I actually got into it. I had my own financial troubles in about 08, 09. But my situation was I couldn't do short sales at that minute for a few different reasons. But I certainly understand what it's like and have that empathy. That I think is really important for us to be able to really understand where homeowners are at. I mean, I'm sure you guys, if you've done enough listing appointments, you've probably done a listing appointment with somebody who's in tears.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, tell us a little bit about Short Sale Superstars. My gosh, I haven't even mentioned that yet. We've been on for like 3 minutes already.
Brian, go ahead on that one.
Well, Short Sale Superstars kind of came from, I think it was like 2009, wasn't it, Wendy, when I know that I needed to learn more about short sales than what I knew. I mean, it was important that I get as much information as I could. So I decided to write an e-book about short sales. So if I don't know anything, I write a book about it. That way I can do all my research and put my thoughts in paper, and it makes a big difference. Well, I had met Wendy through the Active Rain Network and saw that she was doing short sales and stuff up in the panhandle of Florida. So I actually reached out to her to help me write this book. And then that kind of evolved into teaching agents how to do short sales. So, by the way, we never completed the book. But we did some webinars back then. It was a short sale basics, and then when we were getting towards the end of it, we wanted to have a place for our students to get continuing education. So that's when we created the Short Sale Superstars Network, which at the time was just a private network for our students. And then we decided to open it up to everybody. So that's kind of where that website came from. And here we are, what has it been, 4 years later, and I've never met Wendy.
Not in person yet.
I know, I can't believe that. I found that out just a few months ago because we were trying to get both Wendy and Bryant to come on the short sale symposium at Sea Cruise Conference in April. And Wendy is still not able to come, but something tells me that might change eventually. I don't know why I still have that in my hopes file there, but we could have a reunion, or not a reunion, but a first-time meeting of Wendy and Bryant on a cruise ship.
Well, hopefully it will be sooner.
That's right.
Very good. Hopefully you guys do get to meet. I'm sure that would be very neat. Considering all that you guys have done as a team, and you guys I've always loved your training because it's not your basic run-of-the-mill stuff where you take a 2-day course and think you're a distressed property expert. It's meant for people who took a 2-day course and want to know how to really get some deals done. And it's advanced training, which is something that really, you guys fill a very neat niche in the industry with that.
Thanks. And it's a very casual, conversational style. Bryant and I basically talk to each other and we walk through the process. Each micro step of doing a short sale, we walk it through. And it's just a different type of a listening experience.
Very good, very good. So, speaking of listening experiences, we've gotten all the introductions out of the way and all that good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. Let's talk a little lead generation and some exciting stuff that's happening and all that good stuff. One topic, we wanted to really hit on that's just at the forefront of anything in the short sale and distressed property industry is the stuff that's going on with Fannie Mae right now. Agents who are on this call, if you're doing short sales, if you listen to a replay of this, right now, January 2013, the last few months we've been having big troubles with Fannie Mae overinflated property values. Bryant, Wendy have experienced that en masse. Their forum and my forum too, the shortsaleguide.com is just filled with people that are agents around the country that are saying, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous, 20-30% over market value in some cases. So what do you think that's all about, guys? Wendy, Bryant, what are your thoughts? Like, why is it like that?
Well, Mike, I think you wrote a good article about it, and I know I kind of followed up with another one, but I truly believe Fannie Mae is, obviously they're aware that inventory in the strongest hit markets is very, very scarce right now. In fact, Wendy and I were briefly talking on it this morning. In my micro market of Point Siena, Florida, we have 70,000 people, 17,000 houses, and only 100 are active on the market. So inventory in parts of Florida and California, you just can't find houses. So Fannie Mae, I believe, is trying to get as much money as they can, obviously, which they should. And I think from what I'm hearing from the different negotiators and the lenders that I've been asking and trying to pick their brains, is that Fannie Mae, they're really not using the BPOs that are being done. They're certainly not using the appraisals that are being done. They're kind of just pulling these values out of their fanny.
I like that.
Yeah, to add to what Bryant said, I think one of the other reasons is they did an internal audit. It was in October of last year, and they showed that their overseeing agency, FHFA, they found there were substantial losses that could probably have been prevented, and they're probably trying to recoup some of that, logically or illogically, like Bryant's saying, but I think that's part of it as well.
Well, if you guys, too, any time Fannie changes something, it comes right from FHFA. FHFA is their regulator, and really, more than their regulator kind of oversees. They more or less dictate, and they dictate to both Fannie and Freddie. As far as the BPOs go, they're dictating all the guidelines and how they're doing their valuations. We do some for Fannie in my brokerage here in Jacksonville, and it's a whole other issue, but they're actually saying basically you can't use any distressed properties as comps. You can they're demanding that only equity sales be used for these valuations, which
that's ridiculous.
Well, what's really ridiculous is you asked
Yeah.
my opinion. You want to call it a broker's price opinion, but you want to tell me my opinion and how to formulate my opinion.
That doesn't make any sense.
And that could be a potential liability. But, you know, I think the bottom line is, look, buyers are out there paying the prices. And, you know, while supply and demand, and there are factors that do control things, and that these fluctuations are really being forced by Fannie Mae right now, it's pretty evident when you see some of the prices that these valuations are coming in at. It is part of the correction that's going on right now. I mean, we dipped so much here. Stuff is so cheap and there's no supply. Obviously, we're due for prices to go up a bit. We could talk about if it's ethical and how they're doing it and all that, but let's talk about the solution a little bit, guys. Let's talk about how to, you know, how to do some valuation disputes and things like that for agents that are on this call. You know, if you get a property and you get a contract coming at 100, you know, BPOs and your CMAs are showing, hey, it's worth about 100. That's a fair market offer. Fannie Mae comes in and they say, we want 125 for it, period.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing that I do before getting to that point is if there's a known problem with the property, and I think there's going to be an issue with valuation for any reason, I'll actually put that in the MLS. If a buyer does his home inspection right after contract and they find problems with the buyer's permission, I'll actually upload that into MLS too. So they have hard evidence at the beginning. So we're kind of getting into the battle before it starts. That's one little thing that I do.
Very good, Wendy. Yeah, Mike, I've had a lot of these lately, including today, so I'm very frustrated with Fannie Mae. And just a real quick example, and then I'll tell you how I'm trying to find a solution for this. I had sold a short sale about 6 weeks ago at $75,000, which was market value for my area. They came back with an $85,000 counter. The buyer walked, put it back on the market. Within about a week, I submitted a full-price cash offer at $85,000, and I just got the counter from Fannie Mae today at $98,000.
Oh my goodness!
So in 6 weeks, they went from $85,000 to $98,000. So the first thing that tells you is if you've had a short sale that was approved at a price and that buyer walked, do not assume that that price is going to be good again, because chances are it won't be. If it's a Fannie deal, it's going to go up.
Bryant, had anybody gone out and done a valuation between the first and the second offers?
Oh, yeah, they redid the BPO. They're going to redo the BPO now, I think, every time you resubmit a new offer.
Okay.
But, so what I'm finding, and from what I'm hearing, is, number one, when that counter comes from Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whoever, don't take it out on them, okay? They're in the same boat that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
A negotiator for Wells Fargo does not want to have to deny your short sale over value. They want to get these deals closed. That's what they're in the business to do as well. So from speaking to these negotiators, what they're saying is what Fannie Mae is really wanting, they want to make sure that the offer you're submitting is the absolute highest and best offer before they accept it. So if you put a property on the market on Monday and you sold it on Friday, even though you and I know that could be the highest and best, as far as Fannie Mae is looking at, hasn't been on the market long enough. You gave it 5 days. Don't do that. So price your property higher than the market if it's a Fannie Mae. Not too many problems with Freddie Mac, but I'm hearing that they're coming around. So price a little bit high, let it sit on the market for 30 days if you have to before you lower the price.
That's a good point. I mean, unless obviously it's a situation to where the homeowner has a sale date or, you know, it's urgent, then you have to do what you can to stop it, which is a whole other thing we can talk about now, because now they are on doing dual track again in a lot now. So, which means, guys, if you haven't heard that news yet, dual track is essentially, you know, they can continue the foreclosure process while they're trying to do your short sale still. And until you have an approval from all parties, in most cases, there's still, in a lot of cases, I think BOA and there's a few other servicers in there too, where they will continue the foreclosure process, period, until you have approval. So
that's exactly correct. Yeah.
Obviously, you know, like Brian said, though, if it's a new listing, the homeowners wants to stay there for a little while. It's not an urgent thing, and their credit's not going to get mashed up anymore. I agree. You know, it's good to have it on there for a couple weeks right now. This is a lot different than when, you know, a few years ago when we were experiencing the crash. And it was like, okay, you get a short sale approved. They've approved that offer. You want to come in with a piggyback offer if that buyer backs out, you know, right away. Now, like you just said, Brian, you have one buyer back out. You're thinking you can submit a backup offer or, you know, get another offer right away. And here comes Fannie Mae thinking that the value went up 20% in 5 weeks.
That's right.
So
and
those are some tactics to kind of
Brian,
set the stage, guys. You know, make sure you do your due diligence in advance and notate in the listing any repairs or problems with the properties and things like that. So that can be notated. In your short sale packages, make sure you document even photos and do your own BPOs to show valuations and what you expect.
And if you can get repair bids as well, if you get contractor bids, that's also helpful.
Contractor bids as well.
It doesn't just apply to Fannie Mae, but any short sale.
So the cool thing is look, if we do some of this stuff, this can at least help the problems that we are having with these disputes on the back end, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys will, you know, validate this as well. The most important part in the short sale process, period, happens before the listing agreement is really signed. It's all about educating the seller and preparing them for things and really making sure they're aware and knowledgeable and know what they're doing. It's all preparation nowadays, you know. It always has been. So what do you do? What are you guys suggesting right now if we get into a dilemma to where, you know, what did you do, Brian? What did you do today? Because you mentioned you have some issues with Fannie going on right now.
Well, that's a good question, Mike. Yeah, I'm actually still in the process of doing it. But the very first thing I did is just to back up when you said about making sure your sellers and buyers are informed. If you're dealing with Fannie Mae short sales, you need to be sure your sellers know this information at time of listing. When they say, is my short sale going to be approved, say, it may, but it may take us 3, 4, 5 times to get it approved. And let them know about these issues because they need to know that stuff as well. Well, the one I got today, it was very interesting. It came from GMAC, and it basically stated right in the response that, you know, we want $98,000. And then the very next line, which I thought was quite interesting, stated, even if we bring them a price of $98,000, it will not result in an automatic short sale approval. Each offer is subject to an independent review and decision. Mm-hmm. So even though they told me $98,000, I know that they don't have to accept that, right? They can do whatever they want to do. But what you do is make sure you're seasoning your property on the market long enough, and then don't let these counters throw you for a loop. Okay, go back to the buyer, get them up as high as you can. I mean, I've had buyers and they say, well, we're not coming up $20,000. It's like, well, come up $1,000. Mm-hmm. Change something. You got to change something in the transaction to increase the lender's net, and then if you feel that price is the best you can do, suggest to the lender to submit it to Fannie Mae for their approval. Okay? Because I think what's happening is a lot of these counters that they're getting from Fannie Mae to the servicer is saying, listen, you get me $98,000 and you can go ahead and accept this. You're delegated to make that decision. You don't have to come back to me, Fannie Mae, to make the decision.
That's true. They do have delegated authority, the servicers do, in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, Mike, because that was a big deal with these November 1 changes, is whether the servicers are going to be more delegated. They don't have to go to the MI companies and all of this. But they are delegated.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy those. Yeah, I don't think I buy those changes November 1 because I've experienced some of those where there's automatic approvals are supposed to be issued under certain circumstances, and I've had denials and I've had to fight them. The one I had was the depth of a co-borrower, where I had a depth of a co-borrower, and they didn't. That should have been an automatic approval for a hardship, and it wasn't. It got denied twice. through Bank of America, and I had to really fight that, and I got that approved finally, but it was difficult. And it was disappointing as well, just after their huge press release came out.
It is frustrating, and as agents and brokers, Mike, really all we can ever do is our best, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to a short sale, the sellers have enough stress, they have enough emotion into the transaction. We can't be that person that's getting excited or overly upset over a ridiculous counter offer from Fannie Mae.
Yes.
So we have to be the one that keeps pushing the deal forward. I've had short sales I've had to submit 5 and 6 times to get it approved. And they get easier, right? The more you submit it, the easier it gets, because now the lender's seeing these things coming across, and it's, well, we can't just keep rejecting these darn things. Obviously, this is the price, right?
Well, yeah, and when they know you're not going away too, I think you get more attention that way. When you just don't give up, oh, that's it. Don't give up. If you know you're right, just keep fighting.
Well, and one point I wanted to make too about us as agents. You guys know, 3-4 years ago, so many agents didn't get into short sales because of things that happened. They said, "Oh my gosh, I hear horror stories, and I tried to do one, and it was a mess, and this happened, and it took a year, and I just don't want to do them." And now a lot of those agents have started doing more short sales. Actually, those are the distressed property experts nowadays, right? but I had to crack that joke. But check this out. There's I use the analogy of like a prisoner going to jail, for the first time, and when they come out and they've been around the environment a lot, they get hardened. You've heard that terminology before of a hardened criminal, and it's kind of the same way with us as short sale agents. Is we have to go through a season of getting our butts kicked a little bit around by the lenders before we get hardened to where we're like, okay, we know they're going to do this stuff. We can brush it off, move on, and be the one in the situation that is the encourager to the homeowner and in the calming force behind things.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it all and done it all. So new agents, if you think short sales are hard or crazy or stressful, well, wait till you do 100, 200, 300 of them.
Yeah. And Mike, I mean, when did you get into business? You got in what, 2006 or 2005?
I'm a kiddie. I got into real estate. I'm 54. Don't let the bald hair, ruggedly handsome bald thing fool you there. I got into it in 2005, and I did a lot of new construction. And I started to tell kind of my story a little bit, but I learned internet marketing and SEO in 2007. And when the market collapsed, I was the first agent in my area to really embrace short sales. And because I really developed a real understanding for search engine optimization, I was able to get every spot on the first page of Google, every spot on the search engines, and I got over 100 short sale listings within like a year or so.
Wow.
Awesome.
From there, I started referring, and Short Sale Specialist Network was born, and you guys know from there we've assigned tens of thousands of listings to agents and done a couple other things too. But it started with me just as an agent, just like anybody else, banging my head against the wall and trying to make a buck, trying to survive and eat. And any agent that's still in the business the last 5 years, you've learned to do short sales because you want to eat. And I'm not.
That was your market.
Exactly. That's right. You want to pay your mortgage. Yeah. I was going to say I like to eat. Anybody that knows me knows that. I'm not a skinny little guy. But so back to Fannie Mae. Another in any kind of disputes. What are you guys doing if you justify your offers also on the back end? If you do get a big dispute, what's another good step that you guys would encourage agents to take?
I haven't done this yet, but I've had a negotiator advise me to do this. Ask the negotiator if you're getting an automatic decline from the Fannie Mae system, and then have them request a manual review. And I think those are trigger words with Fannie Mae.
So manual review, that's good. So ask a manual review. A lot of areas also have Fannie Mae help desk. If your MLS doesn't have that, Fannie Mae help desk can be a good way. And also, too, guys, of course, submitting your own valuation, your own appraisal. They do still look at those. A buyer's appraisal is good. Our CMAs or our BPOs help a little. That's another thing that you guys really want to have in line. But like Bryant started to touch on too, it's a negotiation. You know, we're not in a declining market, so they're no longer, you know, like, oh my God, we have to cut our losses now before it goes down more. I mean,
that's right. And Mike, you said something earlier too that I think is important. I mean, being short sale agents, obviously we moan and groan about these Fannie Mae evaluation issues and how they're, you know, making things so difficult. But the flip side of that is, it is actually helping the real estate market. The prices are going up, so it's going to pull, you know, the other side of that for Fannie Mae is if they get prices to creep up a little bit, it's going to pull more people out of the short sale situation too.
I have a problem with artificially controlling the market, though. I have issues.
It's always artificially inflated.
Yeah, I mean, really in the grand scheme of things, guys, look, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think the minute our government, they didn't bail out Fannie and Freddie, they took them over. They're dictating all policies. They're calling the shots. It really is socialized housing when they back 60% of the loans. You know, but at the same time, it's kind of almost an imaginary number anyway. You know, when you look at so I get into the Federal Reserve and all of that, but the bottom line is like, look, this is if the market is correcting itself and we are going to experience any kind of appreciation, really, like, can you blame them? I mean, like here's the bottom line: if buyers are demanding properties, the inventory is low, that's supply and demand formula for increasing prices. Now, it is actually to Fannie's benefit right now to foreclose on stuff a lot of times. Foreclosure process is speeding up. In most states, Florida, we just have these regulations passing too. So, you know, it's in their benefit in a lot of cases to foreclose now, whereas a year or 2, 3 years ago, it wouldn't have been. So, really, you know, I couldn't blame them.
I don't know. I mean, I think that counters some of the efforts to save people from foreclosure. I think that's just putting, you know, that's not right to put the onus on the homeowner in that case.
You're right, and you guys are right on that. And anybody listening to this, you know, I don't want to justify what they're doing, but from a business perspective, they're just doing business. And it's up to us, though. Our business guys, we're advocates for these homeowners. It's our job to look out for their interests, to help them, and really do whatever humanly possible that we can to keep them out of foreclosure. So, you know, be strategic. Don't just, you know, we can't just walk into these things expecting them to work out perfectly. They're not going to. Most of them don't, right? They never have.
That's exactly right, yeah.
So let me definitely clarify that. I'm for homeowners, without a doubt. So we've talked about a few ways to solve this and where it's going. Are you guys seeing appreciation in Destin, and you're in Destin, Wendy, Bryant, you're greater Orlando area? Are you guys seeing some appreciation out there too?
I see inventories are dropping. We're not at a 6-month inventory level yet, but I think the last time I checked Destin, we were at an 8 to 10-month inventory level, whereas 2 years ago we had 22 to 36 months inventory. So it's definitely improving. It's leveling off, and there's improvements. I wouldn't quite say it's going up yet, but there, you know, it depends on the little micro market. Even in your area, there's little micro markets of neighborhoods that are doing better than others, and so on. So it's the same thing here. It's improving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely appreciating, Mike. I think, well, in my micro market, Poinciana values are up 20% over the last 12 months.
Wow.
That's definitely appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, we dropped almost 85% when the market hit. I mean, when the market crashed, it was devastating out here in this little area that I'm in. But I think the greater Orlando area, I think even that is up about 10 or 11% over the last 12 months. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing an increase.
So we're seeing that, too, here in Jacksonville in a lot of, like Wendy really mentioned, you know, real estate is local, and it's really local. So, like, at least for the lower-end price point, under, you know, $100,000, we've seen huge jumps in the last few months. You guys, I don't know if Destin has too big of a under $100,000 market or not. But we're seeing it as well, and a lot of the country is. So, you know, this year is going to be really interesting to see how things pan out, and if prices could just improve. Like Brian said, 20% in the last year, they could start improving just as quickly as they dropped.
Yep.
So anyway, back to let's talk some stuff and give some agents some good nuggets and talk some lead generation, how to get more listings kind of stuff. You know, this is one big thing that we're focusing on at the next cruise is, I mentioned everybody seems to be a distressed property expert now. Everybody's a short sale specialist. Everybody knows somebody who does short sales now. So we have diminishing inventories, and we have a lot more agents fighting for, you know, much fewer listings. So how do you get more listings right now? How do you stand out from the crowd? And we were talking a little bit before this, you know, while we're waiting on hold, about the differences between leads and data and some of that kind of stuff. And I'm looking on Short Sale Superstars right now. We've got a few different people here selling sites and leads, or this is data, data, and different things here. What do you guys have to share about that and the different kind of lead sources and stuff like that?
Well, one thing that I suggest, and whether or not you're doing short sales, but it applies to short sales obviously, focus on what you like. If there's a certain type of short sale that you like to do, focus on that, because you're going to attract more of that business. I love doing VA compromise sales, so I write a lot about it. I blog about it. My website focuses a lot on VA compromise sales. I get a ton of VA compromise people that call in my area that say, hey, I need to do a VA compromise sale. You're the expert. You're all over page one. You're all over Google for this. You're the person to call. So, I mean, focus on what you like. If your area has a lot of FHA or rural housing loans were given out in your area, and you like those, write about them. Put those on your website. And also another suggestion is mailings. I've done some target mailings for some condo complexes or subdivisions that I like, and I've talked about the Bank of America co-op program and the possible cash back, you know, obviously with an asterisk, and I've gotten listings that way as well. So I do a couple different things.
And it's critical, too. We talked about this a little bit, too, like, with the internet out there, you have to have a good niche site just for short sales. That's really critical, just to have a place to funnel all of the buyers to. I mean, if you're mailing out postcards or mailing out, you know, to homeowners who are in default, if you're doing seminars, you need a place to send people that they can find info about short sales, do them and all that. One thing I wanted to cut on is when you see stuff like this, I don't want to tell your site, you know, but, you know, find motivated sellers, 30, 60, 90-day pre-NOD homeowners. If you guys, the ones who don't have, well, you guys have done some direct mail marketing. I think you mentioned you had, Wendy. Share a little bit about your experiences with that data.
I did that maybe about 5 years ago, and I didn't buy data for it. You can get it free, and there's ways to get it free through your property appraiser's office. I got one listing from it, and then it basically dwindled, because I think now there are so many people that are mailing those pre-foreclosure lists that it's, you know, it's going to be really tough to get a listing that way.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you've kind of probably missed the bandwagon on. You know, there's two different kinds. There's the notice of default data, which is, like you said, Wendy, that's actually just public records.
Mm-hmm.
If you know how to search your local clerk, you can find a lot of that info. Those are okay. The best results people have with those are when they find people that already have a sale date. You want to find people that have a sale date because those guys are more motivated. A lot of them, they get a notice of default, and, I mean, come on, they sit there for a year, 2, 3 years in the state of Florida before they do anything, right? Yep. And then you have the soft credit data, which those are the 30, 60, 90-day late ones. Those are actually done by hitting people's credit. Experian has a good program that they actually do that. And here's the key with this data is a lot of people take the credit data that Wendy was talking about that you can get very inexpensive or free, and they do try to sell it off as this data here. So just be careful, and the results are minimal right now anyway. So one thing I want to share that we did on one of the calls recently that got good results, the gentleman said he's from West Palm Beach, was doing door hangers. And he said he found a new agent right out of real estate school. He was paying him real inexpensive and actually giving him a little bit of commission at closing to just run around and canvass neighborhoods for him. Knock on doors, hand out these door hangers in mass. And he said that's really generating a lot of listings for him. There's a lot of things you can do. And like Wendy said a minute ago, she said focus. Activity breeds activity. Just sitting around doing nothing is a great way to get nothing.
And don't be too much of a generalist. I mean, really, I do think you have to be specific about your target market inside of short sales, not just I do short sales. Be specific. What type of short sales do you do? What lenders have you worked with, and make it known to the public because people search on that stuff.
Yep. And speaking of lead generation, what I want to do real quick, we'll talk about this while we got people here too. Tell them about the short sale lead machine sites and these sites that we're doing right now, guys. We were talking about having your own short sale site. These are good at converting traffic. A website, I mean, yeah, they do good on SEO, and there's some good SEO results that you can see from these, but the key with having a short sale niche website, like this is Bryant's here, is that when visitors are on there, they can find the information that they need. These sites are very, user-friendly, and they provide a lot of information. And at the same time, they convert that lead or that traffic into leads. Just like getting your face out in front of people, There's a lot of different ones of these. If you're interested in checking out one of these sites, Short Sale Superstars has these actually on their website. There's a discount code where you can get it for $1 a month for the first 2 months. All right. So,
right.
Do you guys have anything to share about web development, SEO, stuff like that?
I say, go ahead, Brian, because I've been talking a lot.
No, that's okay. Well, that's probably more your area, Wendy. The only thing I have to say about websites is, the reason I like your website, Mike, just so you know, well, now my website, is I'm a big fan of blog sites, okay? I think a website, for Google anyway, it has to be fresh. You have to have content coming on it regularly, whether that's once a week, twice a month, or every day. Whatever it is, you kind of need to put it on a schedule so that it's being hit pretty much at the same time. Every week there's new information, not only for Google, but the people that are visiting your website now know that, for example, on just a quick one on Active Rain. I've been a blogger for 7 years, and I used to post an article every other day at 5 o'clock. It was the exact same thing. And I had, 1,700 people that subscribed to my blog, and they knew that I was going to be posting on that day and that time. And if I didn't, I would get dozens of emails asking me why I didn't, making sure I was okay. So people like things being scheduled for some reason. We're creatures of habit. We like things to be a habit. And the beauty of that is not only for the people that are visiting your sites, but also for you. If you get in the habit of updating and putting on content at certain times and make that a habit, then you won't miss it. Because no matter how good your website is, no matter where you get it from, if you don't do anything to it but throw it out there, it won't be successful. Someone's got to put something on it, right, Mike? I mean, that's my thoughts on that.
I love it when agents say, well, I got a website, but it doesn't really give me any leads. It's not your website that's the problem. That's you that's the problem. What are you doing to get traffic to your site?
That's
it's
exactly
just going to sit there. I mean, like I said, you can do some search engine optimization and, do some things to get on the top of the search engines. And here's a little ad that we posted for Wendy for one of her, sites that she has here. This is her lead machine site. But the bottom line is if you do nothing, you're going to get nothing. So websites have to be good at converting leads. But if your website's not generating leads, you got to take some action to get some leads to it. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, yeah, you got to work it, which is why, on your sites, Mike, you've already got in the back door. You've got the the back porch listings, I guess, and Craigslist and things like that, and all of those things make a huge difference.
Yeah, they do. We have we're actually looking at it right now. Bryant doesn't have the he can't see our screen here, but this is the back end of his site, and there's Craigslist and Backpage ads. You just copy and paste the content onto Craigslist and Backpage to have these ads show up, just to help you market your site more. There's email campaigns here there's ebook too, but there's email campaigns to just to mail out to people who are in your sphere of influence.
Well, that's right. And you want to share all your articles on, Google Plus and Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you want to get your stuff out there. And the beauty of a blog site like that is it's easy to find content. I mean, we're agents. I know every one of you, every single day, someone emails you and asks you a question. A question about short sales or a question about something related to real estate. Well, be very precise in your response to them. Turn that response into a blog article.
Absolutely, and it's like you said too. It's consistency too. Having regular content. The Google bots really do eat that up. And
well, that's exactly right. And if you've written up articles, I mean, I've got about 1,400 articles. I don't mind people asking me questions. I just send them a link to the article. And now, not only have I answered their question, but I've sent them to one of my websites where maybe there's another 35 or 40 agents on there that have also voiced their opinion in a comment stream. So it makes me an authority figure is what it does. And that's so important in what we do. People can't hire you until they trust you. And they can't trust you until they know that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's real important. Listing a property is you have to gain their confidence. That's so critical. They have to look at you, maybe having that little thing by your name might give you a little more confidence, but, you really have to come off as somebody who's an authority in this topic who really knows what they're doing. And that takes some practice. You got to get hardened. You got to get hardened first, right?
And you also have to be likable.
Yeah, that's right too.
Because if you're not likable, they're not hiring you no matter what. If I had a choice of being knowledgeable or likable, I'd prefer to be likable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why you have some trouble. Some of the REO agents, not to throw them under a bus, but they're not used to dealing with people. They're not good people persons. They're having trouble they breaking into this, I guess. Hey Brian, I gotta share this little nugget here real quick with people because I just Googled Orlando short sale specialist, and as part of when we set up your site last month, we created a Facebook group for you. Now, if you're creating a Facebook page, I've got a great way for you to get spots on the first page of Google right here. Do not put your name in the title of your Facebook page. Do not put your company name first. You want to put a keyword first. You see how Bryant's was created here with the Orlando Short Sale Specialist? Now, the cool thing about doing this is every time somebody posts on this group, it shows up as Orlando Short Sale Specialist is the one who posted. So it's an extra keyword with some content every time it was posted. Now, Brian hasn't really utilized this group. That's why he's number 10 on the search engines. He actually put a link just last week to his other Facebook page, which is nowhere to be found on the search engines.
And my other page, my business page is actually Florida or Facebook.com/Florida Short Sales.
Okay, so it probably shows up for some keywords if you use it actively for Florida short sales, But all it would take if you set up a group like this is to post on it once or twice a week. It doesn't matter what you post. Invite your friends to it too and get some people to like it. The more traffic and more likes you get and the more you post on it, it's going to get more search engine activity, and this could be one of the top number 1, 2, 3 spots if, it just took a little time to post on it. And again, if we're talking about this stuff, if you don't have time to do any of this marketing and post these ads, check out their site, Short Sale Superstars and the Lead Machine program, because we do all that stuff for you too. We can do Facebook pages and videos like these videos you see here that, have Rulnick Realty and YouTube postings and all that great stuff too, So let's do this. We're going to take some questions from you guys in about 2 minutes here. I want to tell everybody a bit about the Short Sale Symposium at Sea that's coming up. Bryant, you ready for the 2013 Cruise Conference here?
I am, man. I'm working on my beach figure now and my tan.
The only kind of shape I've been getting in is round lately.
Oh.
ShortSaleCruise.com. This is our 3rd annual one coming up in April. You're going to find myself on there. You're going to find Bryant Tutas. Let's go. You can go to ShortSaleCruise.com. We're adding lots more speakers to this event here. So far, we have Lee Honish. Many people know him. We have Vanessa Liddell. She's actually one of the original CDP trainers. She trained 6,000 to 7,000 agents, I believe, in that. Joel Michelle McClintock. There's a lot more we're adding to as well as it gets closer. But it's a 5-day cruise conference. We have 2 days of conference and 2 days of visiting the islands. So much fun, guys. It's a real casual atmosphere, and you can really get up close and personal with some of the top short sale agents in the country on here. So check out ShortSaleCruise.com. About the focus, a couple of the focuses that we're going to really get into. One is how to get more lender direct short sale listing assignments. Who Fannie Mae is using, Wells Fargo and Chase's short sale broker networks, and how to get on those. We're going to talk a lot about how to stand out from the crowd. A lot of different topics we're going to cover. So check out some of our testimonials. You can go ahead and write up any questions you have right now. And while you guys are writing questions that you might have for myself, Wendy, Bryant, I'm going to play a testimonial video or two from last year's Short Sale Symposium at Sea Cruise Conference. So check them out, guys. Here we go.
Man, what a trip. Hi there, I'm Tamara Nzunza coming to you from Alexandria, Virginia. I just got back from the Short Sale Symposium at Sea, an educational yet fun-filled cruise where top real estate agents from across the country put our heads together to help homeowners stop foreclosure. If you missed the boat, you missed out on quite a bit. Here's a sneak peek. Thank you to all of the super real estate agents in the Short Sale Specialist Network. And a shout out to Mike, April, JT, and Ethan for putting the entire event together. If you're a real estate agent and you're serious about building your short sale business, learning about industry trends, and most importantly, helping homeowners avoid foreclosure, then I want to see you next year at the Short Sale Symposium at Sea. Don't miss the boat.
Don't miss the boat, guys. I love hers. And here's one more we got here. This is only a minute one. Very quick. Let's see what Cindy Holstrom has to say.
Hello, my name is Cindy Holstrom. I am a broker in San Diego, California. And my husband Eric and I just got home from the Short Sale Symposium, held aboard a beautiful Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The Short Sale Specialist Network did such a great job of combining a fantastic learning experience with the fun of a luxurious cruise. At first, I was a little surprised and a bit intimidated by the number of power agents aboard. But once I got that this was an amazing opportunity to learn from these agents, I became like a sponge trying to absorb it all. The classes were literally jam-packed with practical information that I was able to start using right away. They were taught by agents and other professionals who are in the trenches of this business. Everyone was so helpful and willing to share their experience. In addition, there were many opportunities to network both on and off the ship. I have been in real estate for over 20 years, and I've never experienced an event such as this. In fact, my husband, seeing how excited I was by all that I was learning, made the decision to get his real estate license so that we can work together in taking our business to the next level. We look forward to seeing everybody next year at the symposium.
All right, very cool, guys. So we've got a few more minutes here, but like Tamara and Zunza says, this cruise conference is a great way to de-stress your distressed sales. It's hard to get away for a few days, but it's worth it. You deserve a break. It's good to have some fun, meet some of the top agents around the country, and it's impossible not to have a blast and learn a whole lot while you're on this at the same time. So what we're going to do, we got a few more minutes here. Let's see if anybody has any questions or anything like that for myself, Wendy, all of us. Let's look at what we got here real quick. Let me pull these guys up here. Another one regarding Fannie Mae, and we did forget to mention this too earlier. Definitely want to contact your congressman too, if you as a last-ditch effort. That can help get some results too for expeditions.
Yeah, good idea.
John actually said, John Dersha said, I thought this was an advertisement for the short sale lead machine, lead generation website. Actually, John, you might have clicked the link I emailed yesterday. That was the wrong link. This is the webinar for about this. We actually have live demonstrations of the short sale lead machine. You can go to, I'm not going to give away Wendy's thing here. You can go to members.theshortsaleguide.com. Anybody that's interested in the short sale lead machine program, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. How to get that set up and all of that. You can go to members.theshortsaleguide.com. I told you guys about Wendy and Bryant's site. They have a special thing too. If you know theirs, you want to go there through their site too. You can click on here, scroll down here. You can click on live demo webinars, or they're really all over the site. You click on lead machine, you'll find the live demonstrations, and we have one tomorrow. So make sure you get in on this webinar tomorrow at the same time, or Tuesday or Thursday of next week as well. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Good questions here. That's the first time I ever had anybody say I thought this was going to be an advertisement. Usually they
Yeah, usually that is the other way around.
Yeah. That's Tamara and Zunza. She's actually on this call. She said that video is getting some miles. Yeah, we play it a lot. We asked some agents to do video testimonials, and hers was the coolest. The cruise ports out of Miami, Florida, and it goes to Jamaica and Grand Cayman Island. And again, shortsalecruise.com. You can find out all the details about that. Any of you guys ever advertise on Facebook, Wendy, Bryant?
I do. Yeah, I do on my Facebook business page. You mean paid advertising?
Yeah.
Mike? No. I did that a little bit, but then I discontinued it.
Me too. I did it for short sale related stuff. I've tried it locally and nationally a few years back, and very poor results from it.
Mm-hmm.
For some businesses and niches, I'm sure you might get some results, but that's just my experience. For short sales, I tried a lot of different ads, spent some money on it, and results were horrible.
Yeah, I agree with that. Who's going to go to Facebook to buy a house or list their property? They're going to go to Google, Bing. They're going to use a search engine. Spend your money on PPC if you need to do some of that stuff.
Neil Singerman said he's going to retry our $1 special. Can I do that? Yeah, if your site has been down for a few months, we had a lot of troubles with our sites originally, but our new ones are just kicking butt, and they look good and work good, most importantly. So our new program is really getting intact, and actually I can announce that next week we're actually adding a short sale calculator to them. So we're going to be adding that to the sites to where it'll have a great tool for homeowners to come on there and help them figure if it's a good idea for them to do a short sale or not. Just one little extra tool to help convert some leads. They're asking, if you're asking lead machine related questions, let's do this, guys. Try to get on one of the webinars for a live demonstration of that. Let's take some questions about short sales, stuff for Wendy, Bryant, me, short sale superstar stuff. We got a few more minutes here. All right, here's some. All right, let me see. I feel like I have had to escalate my last 6 chase short sales. What can I do differently once I send in the counteroffer to get an approval or a counter?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I think if it were me, first I would want to review why I had to escalate 6 times. I mean, is it all based on your pricing? If it's based on your pricing and you're having to counteroffer everything, then you're pricing too low. You need to, again, season the property on the market a little bit if you're able to. I mean, I personally found Chase to be one of the easiest servicers to work with. I mean, they're just slamming out approvals right now. But again, they have to deal with the Fannie Mae issue as well, so maybe that's what you're bumping up against. But keep pushing things. One little tip for everybody, since most of the lenders are now using Equator, and I know we had spoken earlier about maybe putting in your BPOs and your appraisals, and I always get the question, well, where do you put it? Attach it to your contract, okay? Because you're going to have to upload the contract. Put that during BPO or your appraisal. Make it the very first thing they see when they open it up. Mm-hmm. That'll help. Just a little tip off the topic.
Yeah. And the other thing for this questioner, is she allowing enough time for a response? I mean, if it's only been a few days, do you need to escalate? I don't know if she put that in her question or not. If it's taking a week to get a response, maybe that's not unreasonable.
Yeah, she didn't, but that's a good point too. Make sure we're being. I always say those negotiators, just like in most lines of work, they're overpaid or underpaid and underappreciated. They're your best friends. So make sure if you say, I'm calling your boss or, I'm escalating,
right.
We've done everything to work it out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, video-related question, guys. You touched on this. So somebody just said they set up their short sale lead machine last week. Is blogging the best way to get ranked on Google? 2, all right, here's a couple questions. I'll answer these last 2. I'll let you guys answer the other one, I guess. Is there a way to keep track of who signs up on the site? And how can I get a video to be permanently placed on the home page? All right. People, this is a newer feature, and we're about to make some good or some short, brief videos for you guys for the lead machine coming up in about a week or 2. But on your dashboard now, all of your leads on your site are still here. Every different form people fill out can now be found on your dashboard. So you can pull all of these data of everybody who's filled out a form on your site. As far as the video goes, you can easily add that to your site. When you're on the members.shortsaleguide.com, we have a great video training tutorial. Again, I'm not going to get into all of the stuff that we already have on here, but when you're under lead machine, we've got to scroll down a little more here, lead machine training. Go on here. There's a YouTube video that will show you how to add videos to YouTube, how to optimize those videos for success on the search engines on YouTube, and how to add YouTube videos to your short sale lead machine, including the video commercial that we have. We created a good video commercial for you to use as well. But again, get on the lead machine webinars or check these training videos out here. They're really helpful for SEO, stuff like that. What's your thought with search engines and blogging, guys? She asked about is blogging the best way to get ranked on Google.
If you don't blog, then you have to change content in other ways on your website, like Bryant touched upon earlier. You did, Mike. You've got to get fresh stuff out there all the time. I would say, if you can write, blog for sure. If not, just change content on a top website like the one Mike has.
Yes. Well, that's so critical is, like you said, Wendy, to have unique content. Don't take other people's content. You can take it and just totally rewrite it. That's okay usually, but make sure you have unique, completely unique content. That's one thing we're huge on with the short sale lead machine sites. And make sure you have keywords in there relevant to short sales in your local market. That's big for search engine optimization stuff. We've got some great videos on how to do some of that to these sites specifically that you guys can look into as well. But having keywords in the content is critical, and writing unique content is critical. But really, there's a lot of ways to get multiple spots on the search engines. I'm not a big fan of having one spot. I'm more into, hey, let's see how I could have 5 spots. So having a Facebook fan page that you utilize with keywords in it, that's one way. Having a video that's on YouTube, that's optimized on YouTube correctly. That's, again, we give you the video. All you got to do is edit it, or we can add it for you for a couple bucks. Having this video that's optimized on YouTube will typically give you another spot on the search engines too. In a lot of cases, if you have a good description and keywords in there too. All right, so we got just a few more minutes here before we call this quits. Let me see. Rhonda Duffy asked a question because some people are really talking a lot about the Fannie Mae issues we're having. Somebody said, what percentage of short sales are now actually closing? Somebody said, could we start a massive media campaign across the country where we all call the local stations and things like that? You guys have any thoughts on how to draw more attention to some of the stuff that Fannie's doing, or is it worth it?
Well, one of our guys on go ahead, Bryant.
No, you go ahead, Wendy.
Okay, one of our Short Sale Superstars members, and I don't recall his name. Maybe you do, Bryant. He actually did he had a conference with NAR and with FHFA to discuss the problems with Fannie Mae. So they're well aware of it. I like the suggestion from the other caller that said contact your congressman. I think that might be more effective than radio media campaign, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. I email blasted about 500 people of the media yesterday, actually, about the same issue, and really mine was more about the artificial price inflation, and I haven't gotten a big response yet.
Yeah.
Of course, again, I really don't know if there's anything that can be done in some regards. So some of the stuff is going to happen with Fannie Mae and our government-sponsored enterprises or GSEs. But
yeah, and Mike, it always gets down to the money, right? I mean, if the program's working for Fannie Mae, and it may very well be that they're offsetting maybe the few short sales that aren't closing or getting foreclosed on, they're probably offsetting it by getting higher prices on others. I think the fourth quarter was, the first time they turned a profit in a long, long time. Mm-hmm. So, if what they're doing is working, it ain't going to change. It doesn't matter what we do. So as a person that relies on short sales for their living, I'm more interested in finding out what I can do to get my short sales approved, working within the system that's been placed before me. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm putting my focus, and maybe that's a little bit small thinking. But having said that, Fannie Mae, the FHFA, and everybody, they're all very aware of the issues. We have members of Fannie Mae that belong to Short Sale Superstars, and they joined. Yeah, they joined when all those articles were coming out. We've got representatives from the big lenders on there, and HUD, and everybody, so they know what's going on.
Yeah, it's exactly.
But it's all about the money.
Well, somebody said, how can Fannie deny the price that equals a recent appraisal that I sent in, since the buyer will not get a mortgage if it does not appraise? What are y'all's thoughts on that? And I have my own real important theory with that. What are y'all's thoughts on that too? How can they deny it? Like if a buyer, whoever buys it, has to get a loan.
Well,
it has to appraise.
My thoughts on that, Mike, it's no different than selling real estate before short sales. I don't really care what the buyer appraisal comes in at. I'm not the one lending them money. I just want to sell the property. So if the property is not going to appraise, a lender that's, well, let's say an REO, even though it's a short sale, the lenders are treating them as REOs pretty much. And just like any seller, they want as much money as they can get. The buyer's lender wants to lend, they're going to look at the lower end of the comps to lend money, right? Because they want to protect their interests. So it's always a battle between those two. But yeah, I mean, appraisal, if the property appraises at that lender at $100,000, it doesn't mean the next lender is not going to appraise it and come up with $120.
And it's just an opinion. It's an opinion of value. That's all it is.
Yeah, and people have different opinions.
Yeah.
But if you guys are in the REO industry, Fannie Mae made a really big move last year where they basically fired all of their AMCs. They got rid of all the asset management companies, and they quit outsourcing their REO listings and only did REOs in-house. Now, that's big because you guys probably know Fannie Mae Home Path financing, where you don't need an appraisal if it's a Fannie Mae REO, and you get a loan using Fannie Mae Home Path. And part of me wonders, with all of the recent stuff that's been going on to kind of try to streamline things, could it be possible that they might even try something like that with short sales?
Interesting.
And, a lot of that is really why they're pulling more in-house. My thoughts are there's reasons behind that, and there's reasons behind that they do everything that they do. So they're gearing up maybe for more streamlining, just like they've streamlined their REO disposition and the financing, and they can control the appraisals with REOs, right? Because they don't need one if they're doing the loan. I mean, it's really, that's socialized housing at its finest,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's Dawn Maloney. We love Dawn Maloney. She's an old agent of ours. Dawn says, first, just wanted to say that I love short sale superstars. Thanks, Wendy and Bryant.
Thank you.
My question is, do you have any banks that you just don't even try a short sale with since they don't cooperate? Do you guys have a blacklist?
Yes, I do. Actually, it's a local bank. It's Vision Bank.
We listed a short sale just the other day for U.S. Bank that another agent had turned off. U.S. Bank is close on that list if we were to have one.
Yeah, unless they point blank tell me that they don't participate in short sales, I'll work any short sale.
You'll try,
at any time.
This Vision Bank basically won't participate in a short sale. They might say that they will, but and this isn't just from personal experience. It's also from talking to other agents in my marketplace.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't care if they're in third lien position and just a collateralized loan. I will not take one of those listings. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Those are a handful. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I was close to blacklisting Bank of America at one point. A lot's changed, and
yes, it has.
I'm sure you guys were probably in the same boat in like 08 or 09. It was crazy.
Well, they're my favorites.
Now they're good. Yeah. Right. A lot's changed. Now, back then they're the reason why I'm bald. I had to shave my head 3 or 4 years ago because of them. Just kidding. I blame it on my kids. But all right, here's some good ones too. Let's probably not touch this one, but I'll let one of y'all touch on this real quick. Mar says, I was told that if I buy a short sale, quote, buy a short sale and market it for a higher value before I close on it, it is illegal and is called a flop or flopping, regardless if it has a 30 deed restriction or not, because it violates the bank's highest and best offer and could be illegal for all involved, including the realtor and the initial buyer. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I wouldn't do it to begin with. but I don't think it's a. I'm not sure that that's a legal issue.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a law, but I would stay away from that for sure.
Yeah, they're lender guidelines, and Fannie and Freddie, and lenders don't make law; they make rules and guidelines. The law about real estate is pretty much anyone can buy whatever they want, and sell it for whatever they want to whoever they want.
Well, the kicker is marketing that before it closes, and like simultaneously marketing. So telling the lender, hey, this is what I'm buying it for, while at the same time having a pocket buyer you're going to simultaneously close with. I mean, you got to define the word buyer, Mar, and you're really not a buyer until you actually purchase the property and close on it. If you're telling homeowners that representing yourself as a buyer, when you're only going to buy the property if you actually have a real buyer in line to purchase it at a higher price, you're not a buyer to begin with. You're a schemer. You call yourself what you want. You're not an investor because investors take capital risks. You're not risking any money. So anybody want any more about this? There's a good article I wrote a couple years back called $10 Option Contract Scam. And just Google $10 option contract scam and see this little article on Active Rain, actually. And I took this down after a few days because it got old defending all of the, it's become harder to do that. But one more quick question. We're going to about end it here. Again, anybody for Short Sale Lead Machine program, you guys get on one of the live demos for that. Ask any questions you want with that. If you have any questions about that, you can email helpdesk@theshortsaleguide.com, helpdesk@theshortsaleguide.com. So a lot of agents that seem to have questions on that. And one more for you guys. Somebody said, do you use an attorney to negotiate your short sales, or do you negotiate them yourselves?
I have a big smile on my face. Are they kidding? I love negotiating my own short sales.
What about you, Brian?
I'm the same way. I've saved many a seller from an attorney.
I like that wording. I saved many from an attorney, right? I want to tell you something. If you're an agent, do not be gullible enough to think for a second that attorneys negotiate short sales. They do not. You're having some $10 an hour assistant or paralegal who doesn't know a hill of beans about what they're doing process your short sales for you. Now, when a homeowner comes up to you and says, I need your help, I'm in a bad situation, they're crying, they put their trust and their faith in you to help them out of this situation. You're the one who's sitting here saying you're a distressed property expert or whatever you're saying. You're marketing yourself as somebody who's here, who's knowledgeable about this, who can help them. Now, I think it's a pretty big ethics issue when you pretend to help them just to delegate that out to some unregulated, unlicensed third party. That's my own 2 cents that I'm passionate about, though, and that ruffled a lot of feathers there. I saw the anger meter rise a lot there. That's okay. Look.
Well, Mike, and having you having said that too, there are some attorneys that are good at what they do.
And there's some short sale negotiators that are real good too, like Ben Bonita.
That's right.
He's a sponsor of our cruise. I don't want to throw him in a ditch. He's a sponsor of the cruise. He's great, and everybody speaks good of him. But
that's right.
There's a lot of people out there that are just trying to make a buck that are really not going to help your clients. So be careful. And I've found it's always best just to find somebody in-house, a staff assistant, a processor, and if you can't afford that, to have somebody who you can pay to do that stuff on your team, then you're probably not doing enough business to not be able to do it yourself.
Except if you're Bryant Tutas, because he is the master of efficiency, if I've ever met anybody.
No,
he does not need an assistant to do that.
And we're going to close with this. Bryant is a short sale superstar. That's why. You guys are short sale superstars. That's it. But, all right, guys, we've gone on. This has been a really long one. It's been a really good one. I would encourage you guys, if you're part of the Short Sale Lead Machine program, we do these every week. Next week we have Brandon Brittingham. He's out of Baltimore area. He's one of the 30 under 30 winner for National Association of Realtors last year. Really good agent, producing, closing lots and lots of deals. Anyway, guys, thanks so much, Wendy, Bryant, for being part of this. I hope to see both of you guys on the cruise in April. Thanks again for your time, guys. And everybody, thanks again for the call. Y'all have a great day. Bryant, and Wendy, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.